Hi, everyone. It is me, Sailor Moon, Serena here. And hold it. Put on. Hi, everyone. It's me, Serena, and me, Serena, Sailor Moon, Amy, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Quicksilver here. Forgive us for it not being that bright out today, or at least it is, but not enough in this room right now. So today we're going to talk about only girls should be sailor fighters or sailor keepers or whatever you want to call them. And what does the oversight mean? Well, there's not one answer. There's not one smooth answer that you could give. Because in the Sailor Moon followership, it can be taken many ways. One way that it seems to be taken is that only girls can be sailor fighters or sailor keepers. In NAOKO TAKEUCHI's world is that God only chooses women to be sailor fighters or sailor keepers, and that's why they awaken or have their might or strength. Now that's one way of looking at it, you know. Another way of looking at only girls can be sailor fighters and sailor keepers is that NAOKO TAKEUCHI only wanted women and girls to be sailor fighters. Now, however, which way you take this, there isn't a true big answer for it. It's not like there's a book that NAOKO TAKEUCHI written and drawed and forlaid called The Handbook to Sailor Moon. And even if there is a book called that, I don't truly believe that in this so-called handbook, sorry for it being dark again. And even if there was a handbook, I don't really think there would be. That oversight would not be in it. Now, if TK would ever get the rights to make this book, I don't think that would be in it. A lot of folks tend to follow this oversight, and they don't have to. Some of them behave as if it's a law that was made by a bill that was made by some Wintermolt, written into law by someone in a leadership arm of Lawmoot, and now they got to follow it. Well, you don't. And yes, there are those who will say that, oh, well, the Toei business follows it. Yeah, because the Toei business offshooted from the books, which were written and drawn by NAOKO TAKEUCHI. And they didn't follow this oversight, out of some fear if they broke it that they'd be underneath some kind of handicap. Whatever the grounds was, the Toei business broke the oversight, and between 95 while was Sailor Stars and the Sailor Starlights, as they were called. So you can't say the oversight was never broken. And speaking of this oversight, there are some folks in this world that are so deep into this oversight that they even start gatekeeping over it. You want to talk about that? All right, Sailor Moon. All right, Serena. Last time we talked about this, so many moons ago or many years ago, there was someone on Euro. We're not going to say her name or handle because we don't know her name or handle. And that's a good thing. She was into the oversight so deep that she even gatekeeped it and made a whole rant film about why it was bad that Ernest P. Worrell was Sailor Earth and that it was a slight on NAOKO TAKEUCHI. And that is how deep some folks are when it comes to this oversight. But we have talked with many other folks in the past who were into Sailor Moon, I guess they still are, like Michael Loggy 86 or Nick 2121, or we'll also say Katarina Chase. They, and he's in Christopher, he's in CK Smith 08. They were open-minded about anyone being a sailor fighter or a sailor keeper no need if they were a man or a woman. Now, this oversight, I can't seek it anywhere. And there's going to be folks that say, oh, well, it's on the interwebs. Oh, there's a film somewhere on UWay or in some other film holding, film sharing website that she talks about this. Well, if there is, I never ever happen to see it. And there's going to be folks that say, yeah, well, you got to put in, yeah, well, even if there was a film where she was giving her thoughts on this oversight that she came up with, it most likely is her telling folks why there were only women sailor fighters in the world that she crafted many years ago. And I don't think that she thinks that everyone should follow that oversight. You know, I would believe that NAOKO TAKEUCHI, and I'm only believing this, that I would believe that she would be open-minded to everyone's take on Sailor Moon, even if it doesn't match up to her take or Toei's take or that of Deke or Pioneer or Glee or whatever. And we never really followed that oversight either. Thought it was a oversight that could be broken. And it was broken by the Sailor Starlights. You know, Jordan, Dustin, and Jillian. It was later on broken again by Ernest when he came along as Sailor Earth. It was broken by Snoop Dogg, Calvin Colsler, when he came along as Sailor Sun. Well, you were right, Amy. You're right, Sailor Mercury. You're right, Sailor Quicksilver. At the end of the day, only girls or women to be sailor fighters or sailor keepers is a kind of a sad oversight. At least for me to follow, because I believe anyone can be a sailor fighter, man or woman. Now look at the Might Keepers. There are men and women Might Keepers in all of the 30 followings. No need if it was Siobhan, Disney, Siobhan, or Hasbro, so they didn't ever shifted that. So why can Sailor Moon not be the same? You know? So that's just my thoughts on only girls or only women can be sailor fighters or sailor keepers or whatever you want to call us. Because, you know, let us know what you think. Give it a like, share and playlist it, and we'll see you later.